What up, everybody?
What's up, guys?
We're here for something special.
We are. We're here for something special. This is our first live stream from the new studio. Welcome. Check it out. Kyle, maybe click some buttons and show people the stuff. If you missed yesterday's stream, we did the Laser Source podcast, and we talked about a roadmap and all the stuff we wanted to accomplish, and it starts today. The very next day, we wanted to do something we haven't done in a long time, which is just like a live stream where we get something done. So here we are. What are we doing today, Kyle?
We're, first and foremost, we're making a coin.
Yeah, we sure are. I've got to, I think, pull up StreamYard really quick because this is very hard to do when I can't see what the camera's on. So I'm going to do that really quick. Who's in chat? Who do we have today? Kyle. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Hey, whoa. Oh my God. And very loudly.
Sorry, my audio input got messed up there. Sorry, guys.
Oh, it's all good. Can you shoot me a link to the StreamYard real quick?
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem, buddy.
And you can drop your gain by like 10 decibels. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. It might be good on stream. I can drop you here too.
Hey, stream, let me know if I'm loud.
I turned you a little bit down here for now. Oh, thank you very much.
Happy to, buddy.
Okay. All right.
If you're joining on the MacBook, make sure you turn the video stream off on the MacBook.
Yeah, cool. I can do that. I don't even need to come into the studio. I'm just going to sit here so I can see what I'm doing. What's up, guys? We have some Pepsi with us today. And we've got a bunch of different coins. I haven't really settled on what coin we're going to do yet. Kyle and I are about to talk about it. Essentially what we're doing, Kyle and I we were sitting around. We need to raise some funds for 2024. And we thought a really cool way to do that would be doing like limited run laser everything coins. Everybody likes coins. We all like working on coins together. We're not going to use these low quality Cloud Ray ones. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, Cloud Ray's fine for most things, but for you guys who want to do something really special, and I think we've settled on like Swiss buoy stainless steel coins. But I don't want to waste those practicing. And this is going to be our first prototype of the Laser Everything coin. Kyle and I have spent about a week, and Matt, I don't want to disclude Matt, have spent about a week.
There's Matt.
Speaking of the devil. Yeah, I was just talking about how I was excluding you from things.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, the three of us have spent about a week kind of putting this design together. I'm really happy with it. And what we've kind of decided to do, they're going to be limited run. And when they're done, they're done. And I think we'll sell one for like a season. So we'll have like a spring 2024 design. We will have a summer, fall, winter 2024. And each season the design will rotate, and it'll be kind of like a collector's thing, which will be pretty cool. So we have the very first one today. I hope you guys think that it's really cool. I'm super duper happy with it. I'm really excited to see how it comes out. Before we pick our coin, again, for the very first design, and this may not be true of every design, but for the first design, I think we've landed on the Swiss buoy stainless steel straight knurled coins, essentially. And to get that job done quickly, we have the Mactron 80 watt over here, which has really gotten almost zero screen time since we brought it into the shop. So I'm excited to be able to play with this on camera as well. And we've got a whole bunch of coins. Now I'm trying to decipher I don't even know what I have here. This looks like copper nickel for sure, which is not going to be a good stainless steel alternative, nor is any of our yellow or red metal. So we can just knock those all out from here. These two are too light to be steel, but I think these might be. I don't know. They're really light too. We might end up going with like a zinc alloy tonight for the prototype, just because that's what we have available. This is zinc. You think, guys? I think it is.
Probably, especially with the mirror.
Yeah, it's a cloud ray dud for sure.
It's all right.
If it is zinc,
not that they're bad coins.
no,
we're looking for premium though.
Yeah, and I mean we have a specific look in mind too. I think, right? Like we have a specific look in mind that we're going for. I think steel is going to deliver that for this design. So again, in the future, we may end up going. This one's like polished too. I don't want a polished one. We're just going to end up repolishing these anyway, guys, because they're going to go through the vibratory tumbler. I might go with the copper nickel, actually. I think I might go with the copper nickel one.
Anthony was saying he'd pay premium for titanium.
Yeah, titanium would be nice too. I don't believe that was a.
I have a source for titanium if we really want to go that route.
Yeah, there's those guys out of New Jersey too.
We got some options. Well,
yeah,
everything is subject to change. Just putting this out there. The plan may change. We may do something a little different. But tonight's for testing and hanging out and letting you know what we have going on.
We're prototyping, and actually, I'm going to take another one of these because one of the first things we're going to have to do tonight is find the focal distance of this lens because I have no idea what it is. I don't know which of my focal sticks goes to this lens on this laser, so we're just going to do it live and then run it with the focal distance that we find here live. So we'll get a mini tutorial of that too. So over here, we've got our kind of focal distance tester just because it's the same width as the final coin. And then we'll swap this out and we'll go for the final one. So that's kind of the plan for tonight, guys. I hope that you enjoy it. I don't know what's up with this camera angle. It's kind of a weird angle.
I can...
but it's okay. It doesn't matter, Kyle. I think we're gonna jump over to the computer anyway, just to get things started as far as lineup goes. So I'm gonna actually minimize this really quick.
Let me know when you're good.
I'm good.
By the way, unfortunately, I think you guys know, but I'll let the audience know. I won't be able to stick around the entire night because I have Dungeons and Dragons tonight. Well,
yeah, I know. If you don't leave us, your fucking level 8,000 goblin might not get his dick wet in your fantasy.
Well, he's level 8 human rogue, but it's okay.
Yeah, same thing.
It's literally exactly the same.
It is. Oh, it's Command Z. I'm so not used to it. I'm on a Mac, by the way, guys. I don't know if you've noticed.
Love you, Maureen.
What, is she here?
Yeah, am I a laser guy?
Oh my God, she came to our real live stream, but she didn't come to our TikTok pre-show. We did a TikTok pre-show today, by the way. It was very fun.
Corey called
good
me
hanging
a
out.
part-time employee.
What did Corey say?
Corey Ovenstone called me a part-time employee.
Oh yeah, well, it's true.
Oh God.
You're the new voice.
Who? What? Where am I right now?
Huh?
Is this microphone on?
What?
PTSD from World War One.
Who do you think this is? Like 25 millimeters, 30 millimeters?
His coins are 32 millimeters to the outside.
No, these are cloud rays, though.
Oh, the cloud rays. Oof.
Yeah.
I could check.
No, don't. I'll be done by the time you figure it out. It's okay. I'm just going to do it by hand.
Miranda said she's been busy with children or something, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Miranda has an excuse.
Imagine that.
You don't have kids.
They are
a
40.
great mom. Imagine that.
All right. I'm just going to pop my safety glasses on here.
They are 40.
All right, cool.
Mike C says limited edition laser everything cookies consisting of 2 cocoa biscuits with a sweet fondant filling. I think he's alluding to the Oreo cookies we burned on the fiber.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Wait, you did that with the fiber? I thought you did it with the UV.
1,000.
One of us did it with the UV. I think Alex did. Mine was
on fiber.
Yeah, mine was on the UV.
Yeah, I cooked mine with the 60-watt fiber.
One
Oh.
pass.
And by cook, I mean turn to charcoal.
Straight up.
Oh,
Heirloom game
heirloom.
calls. Yeah, thank you so much. $20
Thank you for the
super
support.
chat.
$20.
Hey,
We appreciate
super
you.
chat. We always love a super chat. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Phil. I have to send this to Phil. Dude, I'm out of touch.
MI Laser Guy says, what width lens you got there?
Filled rendering. Today we're working with 100 millimeter workspace lens, f160, 100 millimeter lens, 110. And just to find this focus real quick, I'm just doing speed 1000, power 80. We're just going to do a small dot.
I saw that too.
Anthony says, not what we meant when we said you needed more fiber in your diet, Kyle. You can never have too much fiber in your diet, Anthony.
I got a
Just
fever,
saying.
and the doctor
Yeah.
says I need more fiber.
Here we go. Oh, gotta stand up. That went really fast.
Let
let's
me
turn
cut
on-
so everyone can see what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Alice got that beastly, I think that's a 700 tower or an 800 tower.
This is an 800 millimeter, 80 centimeter tower.
And he's got to reach all the way up.
If you've never seen a grown man on tiptoes,
Hey,
move that Pepsi can out of the way. Ugh, you killed the shot.
you killed the shot.
So what he's doing is he's literally raising and lowering the laser until he gets a reaction. And from there, you can get a high spot, and then you can go for a low spot. And knowing those two values, you can pick the point in the middle and know exactly what your focal height
And
is.
actually, today I'm kind of going to start on the high spot just because I want. This is not going to take very long because I want to become more in focus as we move through the coin. So I'm going to start high, like right where we start to get a reaction. Hopefully, we'll gain a little bit of strength as we move
low?
through. High physically, high.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll start high on the focus, and then as we engrave down into the coin, we'll gain a little focus.
Yeah.
And then start to lose it again, and that should maximize our focal performance. But I'm happy with that. So that's done. Great. Now we need to see if we can actually get this centered. Normally, I was talking with Kyle, and I was thinking about how I was going to like jig this up, but it's just a prototype, and we don't really need to do that today. So I just need to get this in focus once.
The one thing I like to do, though, is I just like to use my little L, my little 90-degree.
Yeah, I thought I have one over here.
Because then you can just shove it right into the corner.
Yeah, and one of the cool things, so if you guys don't recognize this, we haven't published the video on it yet. This fixture plate is called the high-density fixture plate. It's from Blackwell Engineering, who actually sells on the marketplace, the Maker Remix market. And it's a really, really nice plate. And I can just pin it, actually, like that, which is awesome. So just two little pins. I can actually pin it this way, if that's better for you guys while you're watching. I don't want to stray too far from the center, though. So I think we can do this one and this one and...
I was going to say, if you're in the ATM, that over the shoulder would be dope.
That's good, right there.
That's what I'm doing.
I think.
Nice.
Actually, even better.
So we don't have to move too far here. We can just kind of...
Yeah.
We can just kind of pop it right up into place there. Oh my God, the jump distance. This is the first time I've used Lightburn on this MacBook. And none of the presets are set up the way that I want them. Visual grid spacing, for instance, that should be 2 millimeters, not 10. That's awful.
By the way, real quick, to talk about the high density fixture plate. So in case you guys were wondering why it's a high density fixture plate, usually on breadboards, they're an inch apart, 25 millimeters or so. If you were looking at the picture that Kyle just zoomed in on, those I got, I mean, what is that? Like a quarter of an inch, because it's like multiple rows and good Lord.
Yeah. And actually, this particular plate that is underneath this, it's bolted down, so I can't show you right now. This is actually a 50 millimeter plate. So the holes are twice as far apart as they usually are, which is even worse. So,
Couple questions while you're lining that up.
Yep, please.
Heirloom says, I have a 70, 110, and 300 lens. Is that a fair assortment for a 30 watt? Absolutely. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Wait, what are the numbers?
70, 110, and a 300. So a 70 is really good for really tight stuff. If you're doing rings,
in there too.
If you're doing a single coin, that's great. You're going to get the best detail out of it because you're going to get the finest point as long as you're in focus. 110, you're going to get a little bit more focal range. It's a good all-rounder lens. Gives you a little over 4 inches of width and height to work with. And a 300 obviously gives you the most focal range. So if you're trying to do a project mark or anything like that, that's kind of your go-to. Unless you're using a rotary, you can go with a smaller lens. But yeah, I think that's a really good.
Mind like a 175 or a 220 in there personally.
Yeah. If you're doing any color work, if you've got like an M7 or an LP and you want to try approaching colors, larger lenses that aren't too large are really handy for that because you're essentially heat treating and you don't want to ablate when you're doing colors. So I usually target 200 or bigger for that kind of work as well.
What did he say he was doing specifically? Did he mention?
Oh, he just got it. He's been learning from us for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I really think I think personally, again, I think you would appreciate having a little bit more flexibility on the high end. 100 to 300 to me just seems like a really big jump.
He says he forgot he has a 175 as well.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's a better jump. I'd rather go from.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I'd rather go from. See, I don't like these coins, man, because they have this like divot around the outside. So it's
if you go back to the work area, I have it zoomed in there. You can show them.
Oh yeah. So I don't like how, like, if I make this circle too big, it's going to engrave deeper around that outer ring than it is on the surface because we're always pushing the surface down. So I need to get the red line like right around the edge. But if I miss it, we're going to have like a big shear of metal as well. And it's kind of hard to know what the best option is, whether we're trying to overshoot or undershoot. Forgive me here. I'm just trying to see the red laser. I've got this big, bright aluminum plate reflecting our studio lights like right up into my face.
Yeah, certainly not making alignment easy in your case.
It's really close, though. I think I'm just going to go for it where it is. I'm pretty happy with that. In order to get this set right, too, just so you guys know, I went straight into Lightburn settings, not the machine settings, Lightburn settings, and I changed my control arrow key distance to 1/100th of a millimeter. And I was literally sitting here holding command down and like moving it like 1/100th of a millimeter at a time because it really can make your coins look pretty bad and unprofessional if you don't get the lineup just right. And for the sake of time, because we're live streaming, I'm not going to go too crazy. But if I wanted to be really comfortable with this, I probably would have spent another 20 minutes on it. So
2 things real quick that I see in the chat. They're great to bring up here. Beam It Up Laserworks, Anthony, one of our moderators, said some black masking tape would come in really handy right now.
Oh, I have some.
That's actually, that's what he was saying. And the reason he brought that up is because he actually sells it on the marketplace.
He does.
And the other thing is the question was asked by David Troncoso or Troncoso. Sorry if I'm messing that up, but I'm just going to share this to the screen real quick if you don't mind. The high density fixture plate, is this the right one, Alex? So I'm showing off the right one.
I am not looking. Kyle will have to confirm.
I got it. I just got to expand. Yes. There's 2. There's 2 versions of it. There's an XL. I think Alex was the XL.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I was making sure I show you. So he asked, how much is this? So when you go to our website, which is market.makerremix.com, and you type in Blackwell Engineering, this is the smaller high density fixture plate, which is on sale right now for 15% off for $89. which is pretty wild.
And Blackwell, just shout out to Blackwell too, just really quick. He has been so helpful in getting the marketplace set up. So I have no problem plugging his shit and advertising for him on stream right now, because he's helped us like every step of the way to iron out bugs and report issues. And he's been super patient when we've had problems. Yeah, it's been incredible working with him. So definitely go check out his products. Even if you're not looking for something this big or expensive, you're certain to find something over there that I think you guys would enjoy.
This is the XL plate, so you can see this is a big plate compared to the one I just showed you for $89. This one is, let me go back a little bit, close this. This one is $280, but it's literally, I think it's more than double the size. And you can see that it also has an extension plate out here, so that if you use a rotary, it's a great picture to show off what it can do. It also has the ability to place the rotary here so that you can have that on the table. So really, really smart design. And look how many dots there are. In case you've never been to our website, you can do this zoom tool. Really neat. The other thing you could look up is black masking tape, in case you guys are looking for it, because I have some of this stuff. So this is Anthony's website, or his storefront. He has the 50 millimeter by 50 meters, which is a ton of tape. Holy shit. And then he's got the 100 millimeters, so 2-inch and 4-inch. And so you can kind of look in here. And this is for when you're working on any type of core file, doing anything. There's so many uses for this stuff. Really, really nice.
Yeah, I use it for core files all the time. That's really what I'm going for with those. Also, I have this up. If you guys can pull up an appropriate camera feed.
Oh, you're up. You're up.
Can we get a closer? I just want to show off that. So I was just talking to Kyle before the show, and one of the things that I really like about Blackwell's stuff is like when he ships all the little screws and things in like these nice little squishy foam like organizers, and it's pretty cool. You can't really see it from this angle. I'm sure Kyle is working on switching that for me right now. But it's very handy. So that's why I just, like, while I was sitting here and I needed to jig up the coin, I literally pulled the little pins out and I popped them into place, and they just sit there, which is super nice. And then when I'm done with them,
real quick on the screen.
Yeah, perfect. Yep, I just pop them back in again. And that's the thing about the high density fixture plate too, is that offset like 90 or 45 degrees every other row. It goes threaded row, pin row, threaded row, pin row, threaded row, pin row. So you can just use pins, and you don't need to screw anything in at all, which is really nice. So that's how I did this one. I just pinned it up, and I tossed the coin in, and it's good to go.
Look at that shot.
Yeah, no need to overcomplicate it. I think when you can literally just pull these pins out and pop them in. Don't get me wrong, there's times where I would want to use screws, but for this, I think pins more than suitable. So I am ready to start doing some Lightburn stuff. If you want to switch me over to the computer there, Kyle.
Yep.
All right, and it's also time for me to leave and go destroy the Lord of the Feast. So
okay, good luck. Have fun.
Have fun storming the castle.
Have fun storming the castle.
Bye, everybody.
See you, Matt. Are we on Lightburn here?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So these two up here are the final versions of the artwork for this season's coin. So I'm just going to get rid of all this up here. We don't need it. I don't need this. I don't even know what that is. And these obviously need to be resized considerably. So we'll just start right off the bat by bringing those down. And we'll take a closer look here. The musician is back.
I'm backing off control for now to increase your bandwidth.
Okay. So let's see over here. So I think we should start with the face of the coin. So the face of the coin is always going to be the same. You're seeing it right over here right now. And I'm going to, let's see, we're going to get rid of this outer ring. And all of this should be 0, 0. So we actually get the negative. There we go. So here it is, guys. I'm just organizing kind of my thoughts a little bit here about how I want to do this. So let's zoom in a little bit further so you guys can really get a clear picture of it. So here's the coin, guys, and I think it's pretty cool. This is the face, and then the other side will be the tail. And I think we're getting ready to run. Now, this is something that we are going to serialize, and this particular one is a prototype. So I am going to just leave a mark on it, I think, to just signify that this is a prototype and not the real thing. Let's see if we can find something appropriate for this purpose really quick. Ooh, I like that. That's good. So prototype 001. And then when we do another prototype, we can change it. So we can make it like 002 or what have you. So we'll just toss that in there. And again, if I zoom in here, and we just take a look a little bit lower down. So there we've got our prototype signifier along with our 001. So we've got our first run of the prototypes there. And I'll make sure we get closed up. Thanks, Tom. And so from here, guys, I think we're just about ready to start. The only thing that I have left to do is get it over our kind of fixture area here. So I'm going to resize this. Oop, and that's not going to work. Let's undo that. I'm also working on a trackpad, which is terrible. I never work on a trackpad. I haven't really had space on the desk.
We're about that mouse life.
Oh, dude, this is terrible. How do I lock it on Macs?
You don't have a control key, do you?
Oh, it's just not holding shift. Okay. I got it. We're good. So let's bring this over here. This I'm going to set to a tool layer. Don't let me forget to remove the ass over here before we start the job.
If you have it set to cut selected, it won't matter.
I don't ever do that because I'm naughty. Okay, we want this to be the same exact size. So it's 37.209. So we're going to just set this to the same exact size over here. 37.209. Beautiful. And we want to center it up with this bad boy. So let's just grab our centering tool here and make sure we get that centered. Whoa, okay. Undo. All right. So we do need to just man, this is hard. I need my mouse. Sorry, guys. Bear with me here. I thought about having this all prepared by the time we started, but I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity to do it together. So right now what's happening is I'm guessing at keyboard shortcuts, just so you know. Let's just undo it again. There we go. Okie dokie. All right, I've got that grouped now. That was throwing off our centering. So now that is grouped, we should be able to make pretty quick work of this. Align center, align horizontal. There it is. And we don't need the tool layer, so we can turn that off. I guess we can just set this. Let's just set this to another layer and turn it off. Easy enough to do. There we go. Set that to blue, throw it up here. Output and show, turn that off as well. And we should be left with our prototype. So we'll take a look at this here. It looks pretty good to me. You don't see anything weird going on here, do you, Kyle?
No, looks good. As long as you got your settings on point, your params.
Yeah, I don't. So that's the next thing we need to talk about. Let's see, is this framing up for me? Yeah, it's bounds. Can we get contour? Not outside shapes only. It's really close to the edge, so I'm going to reduce the size. I'm going to trust our centering and just reduce the size of this a little bit.
Before you're ready to mark it, I'll also swap the camera angle.
Okie doke.
I'm just so everybody knows, the bandwidth at the office isn't great, so if I'm in there controlling it, Alex is going to look potato, and I'd rather you guys see what's going on, and then I can hop in and out.
Yeah.
So we're trying to keep the quality good for you.
Yeah, it's going to be close, man. It's going to be real close for sure. I wish just in my design here, if I could do this again, I probably would have left myself a little bit more room between the outer ring. Well, I suppose I could do that now. So if we ungroup this and I bring it back down a little bit, then I can grab just the outer ring here. And I should be able to just pull that out. There we go. That'll make it a little more comfortable.
Push the text inward a little bit.
Yeah, and it pushes the text inward a little bit. So it's a little more, it'll be a little more forgiving with me with my lineup. Just as far as fitting the text in, like at all. So I'm going to go ahead and frame that again. And I only noticed that was going to be a problem when I did a contour frame, which I think is super important to do. So I'm not just going whole here. I'm not just looking at, whether or not the circle is the same size, but I'm seeing the text and I'm seeing the artwork. And I'm trying to make sure that we're going to have space for all of it in our final run.
Yeah.
Especially if you're using like not cloud rays and you're using like Swiss buoys. I mean, like they're expensive, you don't want.
They're like 2 to 3 or 4 times more on cost.
To be wasting them, at all. So,
especially if you're using something like a superconductor coin or a titanium coin or something specialty,
Yeah, and I actually just gave it 0.2 of a millimeter back to the left. And I'm going to switch back to a hull here. Just get one last look at our outer circle, which I'm feeling pretty good about now. So I think we're there, bro. How's chat doing? Good?
Chat's good. We got some questions we can loop back to while we let the engrave go.
Yeah, that's the last thing we really need to cover in here in Lightburn before we move on is settings. 1080 has been like my go-to setting for ever. Not just for coins, but for like everything right off the bat. You get like a really nice balance of power and speed there, and it really maximizes the time to depth in my experience. So I really like 1080, and that's at a frequency of 25, 1000 speed, 80 power. We are on an 80 watt machine, so I think we're going to get even a little extra kind of chewy over what we normally do. If for some reason I felt like it was moving super slow, I might change the speed to 500. But I also don't want since this is a copper alloy, I don't want there to be too much heat buildup either. I'd like to keep things moving so we can kind of reduce heat as we're moving through. So that is okay with me for now. Line interval, we definitely need to update. It's at 0.1 right now. We need to tighten that way up, 0.025. I want some nice ablation on that. It's like 1,000 lines per inch. And I'm going to do classic laser everything here, guys. 45 degrees scan angle with a bi-directional pass. And number of passes, I'm not going to set right now. I think initially out of the gate, we're just going to run continuously until we kind of like what we're seeing on the table. Do I want to auto rotate? Probably.
Do you want my opinion?
Yeah.
Set the scan angle to 0, turn off crosshatch.
Yeah, you want to just do the auto rotate by itself.
Yep. Do 36 degrees for 10 passes.
At the angle increment?
Yeah, 36. And then 10 passes, that'll give you full rotation.
Yeah, right.
Nice even ablation, and probably shouldn't take all that long for 10 passes.
Yeah, I like that. No flood fill, not for this. Fill all shapes at once. Filling kind of matters too.
Yeah. I think it's good.
I think all at once, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
For this, if for some reason I felt like we were... So here's something you guys kind of have to imagine, is that everything on this coin is getting engraved except for the white, right? The white stuff is going to be rising up out of the coin. If for some reason we felt like we were losing a lot of these small details, I would probably change this to filling shapes individually, just to keep the laser in one spot longer instead of running like these huge, less accurate lines across the entire piece. By filling shapes individually, it keeps the scan head jumps shorter, which will improve our accuracy. And that has to do with timing and jump delay, and we have a whole episode on that if that's something that you're curious about learning more about. But for now, I will leave it at fill all shapes at once. I'm feeling hopeful that this is going to look pretty good. So yeah, Kyle, if you want to cue up like a nice shot of the laser here, I'm going to throw my safety glasses on.
I'm logging back in.
No worries. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Infinite window. There we go. Nice shot. I'm going to grab my phone too so I can at least keep up with chat because I can't even see chat on this computer. All right, man, you ready to burn this thing?
Yeah, we're all queued up. Good to go.
Okay. Oh, I forgot something. Can you put me on the head on real quick?
After I log back in.
Yeah, sorry.
You're on.
So I don't want to poison myself, and we don't have
zinc. Metal's really bad for your lungs.
Yeah, we don't have a very good extraction system hard-lined into the building yet, but this little extractor has done a great job with the X-Tool F1 for what I've used it with. So I'm going to use it to just kind of pull some of this metal dust out of my face. I think it should do a good job doing that. So I'm just going to connect the hose in the back here, and I have a power supply under the cabinet behind me over here. And we're just going to bring this right over and rest it right there next to the coin, and it should do a pretty good job. It's got decent suction. It can be a bit loud, so if there's a lot of noise, I apologize. But you know, if for some reason we just like can't do the stream, I do have a 3M respirator, and I can wear it, but then you won't be able to hear me. So it's going to be a little bit of a trial and error. But I just wanted to show you guys what I was setting up over here. So this is the X-Tool fume extractor. And I'm going to grab the power cable for it. You can cut back to the regular view if you want there, Kyle.
We are tuned up for the engrave.
Okay. I just have to run the power cord really quick for this. And I'm going to need, one second. I'm going to need my little wire snips over here. I did not plan for fume extraction in advance of this stream, so I'm kind of putting this together last second here, but I'd rather have something than nothing. And again, I have the respirator if I need it. It is 2 feet behind me over my shoulder, so if I need to go grab that, I will, but this should do the trick. my nearest power strip is down there. Okay. I've also never run this thing without the X tool before. It's always been hooked up to the X tool, so see how it does as a standalone unit today. It's a nice size. It's really compact and portable. And if my memory serves, it's got pretty good suction. I'm set to high. I'm set to high. We're plugged in. We've got power. Just give it a test run real quick. Hopefully that's tolerable. Would you call it tolerable, Kyle?
Yeah, it's fine.
You can always turn me down too if you need to. I can yell over it. Yeah, I mean it's like a home vacuum cleaner motor, you know. So it should be decent.
We would take that over any poor safety. So it'll be fine.
I just want to make sure that I can keep talking with people, you know, because I want to be able to chat with the audience. All right. Now that we're safe, I'm going to go ahead and hit start here, and we'll see what we can do. I am wearing the DBYs from No IR, which offer good fiber protection. So we should be able to get pretty close to this while we're running the stream. Shoot.
So we got some questions while this engraves, and we get to kind of watch a time lapse. So Frank says, can you cut 18 gauge brass with an 80 watt MOPA fiber? And I just did a quick Googler job, and 18 gauge is 0.04 inches.
Ooh. Yeah, I think so.
That's 1.2 millimeters, if Google is correct. I don't see why not. Yeah.
Might take a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like anything, it's not really designed to cut. It's not its first job, but you can do it.
For Brett, let me go get the metal spreader real quick, because I feel like that's relevant.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have it in the office next door. I'm gonna try to stay out of your guys. What is this on the front camera? Oh, it is. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I thought we were on the over the shoulder, and I kept feeling like I was standing in the way.
No,
let me go get the metal spreader. I'll be right back.
All right. Let's see. Vince says, if it's too loud, can't Alex go back to his desk and watch it on the computer or the phone? Yeah, he could. There's options. We just, we want to make sure we're doing things safely. Heirloom says, wouldn't 36 degrees for 5 passes give you 180 degrees and basically be the same lines as 360 degree? Not exactly. Depending on how aggressive your parameters are, it can still leave a lot of lines. It depends. I guess your mileage may vary. It's all going to come down to your parameters, how aggressive you're being, and what exactly you're working with and what you're doing. Anjo says, I think I'm in the wrong place. Is this Elon Musk's next Starship stream or Starship launch? No, not exactly. But we're glad to have you. Makers and Joe says, just a quick one about the focus. Should you lower things a little bit to get max power as you go deeper? He did down focus about an extra millimeter or so just to make sure that he has enough throw to go deep if he wants to. Yeah. You don't want to go too crazy because, again, on like a 110 or 100 lens, you're only going to have just a couple millimeters of focus depth anyway. So if you down focus too far, you're starting actually out of focus, and you may not get in focus because it can't ablate effectively enough.
If you don't mind hitting me with a quick over the shoulder, Kyle.
You'll have to give me a sec.
Yep. No rush.
We are over the shoulder.
Cool. So this is what I'm talking about by metal spreader. You can see it here. And essentially what's happening here is you've got two clamps, and they're going to bite down on your sheet of metal. And then you're going to pull this out like a vise and just give it like a good stretch. And the reason that you want to do that is it keeps the metal from warping when it gets hot. And especially with something like brass, the minute that it gets hot, the second it gets hot, it's going to start like warping all kinds of weird ways. I've tried to cheat getting one of these every possible way. I've used like circuit board holders, I've used clamps, I've used vices. Nothing works quite like this. This is the tool that you want for cutting metal. I haven't done anything on the channel yet where I've been able to show this off. We can definitely do that soon. But this is what you want. So again, you just loosen it up here. You slide, you get this to the distance you need. You slide your metal in, you tighten these up, and then just give it as a good crank and kind of pull the metal apart. And that will keep it from warping while you're cutting through it. And that should do a really good job. So I just wanted to show that off really quick. But we can take them back over to the job view here now. Actually, Kyle, I think if we zoom on that other, I think the over the shoulder may offer a better view overall of the bed.
We can give it a shot.
If you want to try to do a little zoom there. I can also grab the XF605 and reposition that, maybe behind the table over here if I can. Pretty nice view right there.
I thought so.
You can tell this is actually really interesting. You can tell the PTZ camera does not have an infrared filter on it. There's no infrared filter on the PTZ camera sensor because you can see the reflections of the fiber inside of the white nozzle for the extractor unit here, which is pretty interesting.
I'm gonna keep burning through some questions here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Michigan Laser Guy says, do you prefer cross-hatching versus incrementing the angle? Alex really likes his 45 degree and negative 45. I personally
I was totally wrong on that. Let me just say, the auto rotate is definitely the call, especially when you're doing coins. If Kyle had let me gone ahead with the crosshatch 45s, which is what I use for normal shop work, but if Kyle had let me go ahead and do that for this, when you're going so deep, it really leaves a lot of ridges and valleys, and they can be very hard to get rid of. On normal work, where I'm just doing a couple passes, it's not a big deal, and 45s are quick and efficient at getting rid of lines. But for something this deep, again, I really think that auto rotate was the way to go. Kyle's totally right on that one.
Yeah. Surface marking, 45 and negative 45 is the way. And when you're doing just one or two passes of each, you're not going deep enough where you're going to get, nasty stuff generally, unless you're being way too aggressive with your parameters. Heirloom says that's a pretty busy piece for the space of the coin. Kind of intended. We can get into that later, though. Tennessee Wood Signs. Does anybody know how to rename a font so that you can find it easier? When he used to do sign shop work, they used to rename their fonts to numbers instead of names to make it easier to find. Is that something that is doable? In Lightburn, you can actually add fonts to your favorites list to make them, force them up to the top of the list. That's an option. Michigan Laser Guy, have you done coins using 3D sliced engraving? I originally started on that path, which worked tolerably, but was looking for a simpler way, this looks much easier. There's a lot of ways to do coins. So I actually did a 3D height map video, which we originally aired at LBX, and we've reworked, and I did that Halloween coin. You can do that, but a lot of people find that it's not time efficient, especially if it's a product that you want to sell a lot of. It's hard to get your money's worth out of it. So if you're going to go that route, you got to really fine tune your settings to be fast, efficient, and good while still being accurate, and not sacrificing quality. Doing multi-layer and setting different layers. We see your hat, by the way. Setting multi-layers can be a lot faster because you don't have to go so high on the pass count to get, features that stand out. Nova wants to know how many passes we'll do. We're not sure yet. We're just kind of playing it by ear and testing, seeing what we like. And if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. I'm just working my way up chat and catching up. Alex's bandwidth makes the coin look like it was designed on a potato. No, I mean, yeah, the problem is with me in there, it's literally doubling or tripling the bandwidth needed for the stream. So that's why I have to pop in and out to make sure you guys are getting good quality. So we're working on it. It looks like Anthony answered the question about lens corrections and scale and everything. So thank you for that. Yeah, black masking tape is good for particularly masking tape, not duct tape. You don't want to use duct tape because it's vinyl PVC based, which is a no-no. But black masking tape is really good because you can put it over something you don't necessarily want to mark because you don't have extra of. And black masking tape is cheap, and you can test the mark gently, see what the design looks like, and make sure the alignment's good, and then you can proceed. It's got a lot of uses. It's not the only reason. And core file, like Anthony said, it's for correcting the scale, bulge, trapezoid, and skew of your lens to make sure that it's not fisheye distorted or anything like that, and you're getting the proper size when you're in focus for your output. And I think that caught us up from before. Now I gotta go forward here. They said it's not bad at all. They said you should name your exhaust fan Kirby. Paint it pink and give it googly eyes. Yeah. With enough passes, use a wobble. Oh, you're referring to the cutting. Yeah. When you're cutting anything on a fiber laser or galvo laser in general, wobble is really helpful. Tennessee. There's a good question. How many font choices does one give a customer to pick from when selling engraved products online? Kind of depends. You want to make sure you have the proper commercial licensing to sell those font choices. So if you're going to something like DaFont, a lot of them you can use for commercial use or any use, and some of them you can't. So make sure you have that. But in terms of raw choices, there is such a thing as too many. If you want to give a solid variety, I probably wouldn't go above 6 or 9 choices. Once you start going outside of that, you're just adding a lot of bloat, I find a lot of the time. At least that's the feedback I give a lot of the time. If Alex is there, he can pop in with his opinion on that if he has one. But I usually pick 1 or 2 different styles of script, 1 or 2 different styles of something like Times New Roman. Maybe something a little more colorful or decorative, depending on what it's for. It just kind of depends, but I usually try and stick to like 9 at the most. Let's see. Nova says, if I was able to post images here, I'd post a couple of the coins I did. You can post them in the Discord. In the Hot Topic section, we have a coins area. Anthony also tends to stick to no more than 5 fonts. I think that's fair. 9, in my opinion, would be the high side. 5, I think, is also pretty reasonable. You don't have to go crazy. And if for some reason they don't like your offerings, you can offer to let them pick their own font and just charge extra for tooling changes, as it were, if you need to. If that's something you feel like offering. What resolution can a MOPA fiber do? From David. It depends on the lens. Fiber is definitely capable of pretty solid DPI resolutions, but a lot of it depends on your lens. If you're working with a 300 lens, you're not going to get nearly as much out of it as you would like a 70 or a 50 millimeter lens, simply because you're bloating the dot size when you're at focus on a bigger lens. So I would say potentially anywhere from 260 to maybe 400, depending on the configuration and setup and if you're actually in focus. It really depends. It's going to differ from lens to lens in your focal distance.
Dude, were you able to see the stellar new shot that I got set up with the XA75?
You just swapped it? Alex? Alex, can you hear me?
It's been swapped for a minute now. If you switch back to the over the shoulder and you pull out a little bit, you'll be able to see it. But this one's almost like straight top down, like right onto the piece.
Nice.
Sorry, when I said that, I ran into the office to see if I could hear how my audio sounds. It's good. It's not clipping. It's a little loud, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah, dude, that shot is like super pretty.
Yeah, it looks super good. David says, can you guys recommend a good XY table? Does someone sell one in the community? Do you mean a motorized XY table controlled by software, or do you mean a XY table that you control manually to align things in finite detail? Let me know.
Blackwell makes a manual one, right?
Blackwell does. There's another brand I can't remember off the top of my head, but Blackwell does, and he's on the marketplace. If you need a motorized one, that's a totally different can of worms. Manual. Yeah, check out Blackwell on the marketplace.
I saw somebody ask what camera we were using for the coin shot. Before it changed, it was the PTZ camera. It's got 30x optical zoom, which looked pretty good, but it was kind of from the side, and I didn't really feel like it was doing the depth of the engraving so far any justice. So I ran around for a couple minutes while Kyle was answering questions, and I grabbed the XA75 from where it was on the other side of the set and moved it over here. I set up the wireless transmitter, and I got like a really nice top-down shot, which I think does the depth of the engraving so far much more justice. I'm going to go ahead, Kyle, just based on what I'm seeing here, and I'm going to set us to like 10 passes.
Okay.
Just with the repeat menu. Taking about 10 minutes for a 360-degree rotation. So if we do 10 of those, it should be about 100 minutes per coin, per side. So
Yeah.
200 minutes per coin. I could always, again, slow the speed down, which will double our time and up the power. We could probably get it done in less passes and probably a little bit less time overall, but I think we would lose some fidelity there. So I think leaving it where it is for the time being is probably best. And like somebody mentioned, there are a lot of small details in this, which is why we're sticking with a high speed and kind of like a medium to high power, because we are trying to retain those details. I think
we're trying to keep the slag off of it.
Yeah, I think this is the best way to do it. We are also, when this is done, I'm going to pop this into the vibratory tumbler. We have a wet and a dry, so we could put a little polish on it even if we wanted to. Though I may just do it wet and leave it matte. It depends. We'll see. But that's definitely the next thing that we're going to be experimenting with is our finishing process. I think the vibratory tumbler is really going to let a lot of the detail in this come out that may be covered in just like soot and dust at the moment.
Tennessee has 26 different fonts. It might be scaring its customers away. Yeah, that might be a little overwhelming to kind of pick through. There is a thing called analysis paralysis. If you gave me 26 font options to pick one thing for like a gift for somebody, I would just be frozen like a deer in headlights. Try and narrow that down. Cut back on some of the similar ones. Anthony had the same thing as me. It's analysis paralysis. Yep. We will be probably potentially doing cleaning passes, but the benefit of using the vibratory tumbler is we may not have to. If you wanted to take the coin straight off the bed and have it ready to go, that would save you some options. And Alex, when you return, can you let us know where that sheet holder came from? He's in the office trying to work something out. Hang tight.
Yo,
dog. Where'd that? Yeah, you're good. Where'd that sheet holder come from?
Where did what come from?
Sheet holder for cutting.
Oh, that's Mactron's, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of laser vendors will carry kind of their own flavor of one. But yeah, Actually, I'm pretty sure there's 1 or 2 posted on the website too.
Yeah.
Check the marketplace, but yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off in the middle of your thought. I just thought my audio would be a little bit better from in the office.
It's way better.
Instead of trying to compete with the fiber.
It's way better.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Dude, I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, once this is polished up, it's gonna look interesting.
Particularly like I'm really looking at the details in the text here right now.
Yep.
And I'm really happy with that so far.
As you can, if you guys are curious on depth, I know it's a solid color. It's hard to tell. But as the laser flashes and passes across each area, look at the outer ring and look at the edge of the text as the flash goes by.
Yeah.
You can kind of see the lip. And where that flash is catching on the lip, that's where you can kind of get a good idea of what kind of depth you're looking at so far.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the 85 people that are hanging out with us live right now.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I know. I just noticed myself. We're really glad that you guys are here.
If you guys are enjoying hanging out, smash that like button. Let us know this is what you're liking seeing.
Yeah.
Let other people know this is what you're liking seeing.
So far, dude, I'm like stoked on this right now. I mean, like it's definitely sooty. This alloy, I think it's zinc alloy, is behaving with like a very sooty kind of like leftover mess. I think even if when this is done, we just hit it with a little like Zep and like a toothbrush, I think a lot of that's just going to wash away.
Yeah, a lot of this is proof of concept anyway, too. So
yeah, I mean that's why it's got that prototype P, which I'd like to point out is looking very good over there. I was kind of nervous about that when I threw that in at the last second on on Lightburn, but I'm pretty happy with this. I'd also like to just kind of throw this idea out there in a similar font or in a similar fashion. Because Kyle and I are both thinking about producing these coins for the Laser Everything viewers. If one gets produced by you, we can put a little K there. And if one gets produced by me, we can put a little A there.
It's like a little minting process?
Yeah, like a little minting. You know, like they have the, what is it, like Philadelphia and Delaware on the quarters?
Yep.
Right? I thought that would be kind of cool. Just like a neat little idea. And then people will be like, oh, well, I got, number 5, and this one was minted by Kyle. It's pretty. I think it would be like an extra little added.
Cool.
Yeah.
You guys let us know what you think in the comments. What do you think?
Tennessee Wood Signs is asking if we engrave the coins straight down or if we're offsetting it a bit. It is offset, but not because of any kind of technical worry or like light-based worry. It's more just because that's what we needed to do to get it centered and be able to use the breadboard so that we could jig it up or fixture it up in order to produce multiple copies. It's not offset by a lot. I'd say we're probably about an inch off board center right now, and I'm not worried about flashback with the 110 lens. I think we're far enough away. If we were using a more reflective metal like silver, I'd be a lot more worried about it, and we'd probably offset even more. But as things stand right now, I'm not particularly concerned.
Yeah. Frank says, "What is wobble?"
Well, that's a whole YouTube video.
You
go for it. No, you go
okay.
for it. It's fine.
The very, very short version is it's used for cutting for the most part. When you want to chop something out of a piece of sheet material, for example, you can't really use line mode effectively because a lot of the time the material will kind of weld itself back together. So what you do is use wobble. And what it is think of it like a little, like you're drawing curlicues in a row along a line path. And it kind of chews the material out in a wider fashion while still helping push that material out of the cut line. That's the best way I can describe it. that is absolutely, like Alex said, that's a whole video topic in and of itself. But he does discuss it if you go back to the channel after the stream, he did a aluminum sticker cutout for Halloween. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago now. We did stickers and keychains. So we used Wobble on that. And then I also produced 2 videos. One where I got really frustrated because I couldn't cut gold, and one where I figured out how to cut gold, and it really came down to the Wobble. And so if you watch the gold, I think it's called Gold Cutting Secrets, Laser Everything. If you do a search for that,
those are posted like 3 days apart.
There's no way that this has done the 10 passes that I asked it to do. So I'm gonna go run out to the set
on the framing menu. There's a slider to allow it to continue to run.
Yeah, I thought I did that, but I guess repeat. I didn't. I'll go check it again. I'll be right back.
All right. So while he's doing that, I still have some more comments to catch up on.
All right, I'm back out at the set, guys, and repeat is definitely checked. It did not do that though, so that sucks. Maybe that's something fixed in the bug fixes that I should have updated for. So let's go instead. I'm going to go into the Lightburn menu, and I'm going to set. Oh, it's set to number of passes 10. So we've done 30 of the 100 that I wanted to do. So I'm going to set this to 70 and hit OK. We're just going to run it from here instead.
All right. That's one way to go about it.
Also, dude, not gonna lie, that fume extractor is doing work right now.
Good.
I don't know if you can just barely see it, guys, but next to the coin there is the nozzle to the X-Tool fume extractor that we're using for this job, and it is like you can just barely see it, but it's black on the inside.
Here, let me get an audible vote. I can mute that, so it's just me and Alex talking.
Oh yeah,
if you guys want.
Yeah.
If you guys want to hear the engraving for some reason, we can unmute that.
Yeah.
But let us know. I know some people enjoy, listening to that.
Maybe I'll do a poll. Maybe I'll do a quick YouTube poll.
Yeah. Nova says, what was the Discord? It's in the description below. But if you want to type it in manually, it is discord.gg/lasereverything is our official Discord community link. It's a permalink. If you want to type it in manually, if you have an account, it'll just prompt you to open it in the Discord app. If you don't have an account or you're not logged in, it'll ask you to log in or create an account. If it doesn't allow you to join, make sure that you have all the security stuff linked up. That is a common thing. That's just to make sure that the community is free of excessive spam or bots.
I did go ahead and throw up a poll real quick too. So go ahead and vote in the poll on YouTube if you're watching live.
Yeah, if you guys can't see the poll on your screen, or if you're on mobile, if you minimize the video window and open up the live chat across the bottom, you should see a little icon that allows you to click in and give your feedback on the poll.
Yeah, I'm gonna run back out. Not to the. You don't have to unmute the thing out there. I'm not gonna talk, but I do just want to show you guys really quick the camera setup that's capturing this image right now, because I'm proud of it and I think it's cool. So I'm gonna go just maneuver the PTZ for a second and show you guys how we're getting this shot, because I personally I find it really interesting. So I'm sure Kyle will continue to hang out with you guys. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. While he's talking, I will just maneuver the PTZ around a little bit so you can see exactly how things are set up here, especially if you're just joining us.
Yeah. Greg says, I'm doing brass coins right now. Is 80 watt MOPA the best for it? I will need to upgrade hopefully soon. It depends on what you're doing. If all you're doing is coins and you're doing a lot of deep engraving, 80 or 100 watts, 120 watts, you can really make use of if you fine tune the speeds, the frequency, and the power to really make use of it and get the most out of it. Because you can really batch stuff out a lot faster that way. But is it required? No. You can do coins on a 20 watt if you're willing to give it the time and effort it takes to do it on that wattage. Another thing is properly sizing your lens for it. If you're working with a 300 millimeter lens, it's going to feel like it takes forever because your focal dot size is going to be huge. And it's not going to put in the work. It's kind of like working with like a blunt shovel versus a really sharp trowel when you're trying to dig a very specific hole, I guess would be the right way I could phrase it. So I hope that kind of helps. Alex has given you guys a little couple different views of the shop here. KN says, how come manual is better than motorized? Is it more accurate when it comes to XY tables? It's not about accuracy and it's not even about being motorized necessarily, because you can have a motorized XY table that isn't tied into the laser controller, and then you have one that's software controlled. If it's software controlled, you need to there's a lot that ties into dealing with software control of that, and unfortunately that's not something Lightburn can do right now. So you're limited to EasyCAD for starters, and B, it's not available to all EasyCAD controllers because not all of them support additional axes other than a single rotary axis. So it's just a can of worms that it's very easy to overlook all the details that are required to accurately run a software one.
Hopefully that was a cool little view for you guys.
It was a nice little transition there too. We saw.
I'm tempted but nervous to switch the XA75 into infrared mode just to see what it would see, but I'm nervous I'm going to damage the sensor doing so.
If you're going to do it, I would point it toward the wall.
I just you see how we're already getting the black shadowing around the laser line. I'm pretty sure we're already pushing it with the sensor. I probably won't, but someday we should do an infrared demonstration, because I feel like that'd be really cool to be able to see it kind of just blowing up.
Yeah, that could be a later thing.
Also, did we thank MI Laser Guy for the $2 super chat? Because I saw that come in. Thank you.
I'm
for that.
May have missed it.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yes, he did the one up with the hippo bite on it.
Oh, very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Someone said NFT for lasers. I mean, kind of. It would be like an NFT, except that this will actually have value for people that care about it.
Yeah. Nova says use the dry tumbler. Well, he's got a wet and a dry. We're probably going to do some testing with that. Fine tune the exact.
I think this is definitely. I mean, it depends on how it cleans up with the ZEP, but I think it's definitely going to require at least a little bit of green pyramid before it goes in the dry. It may clean up. We may get a nice shiny silver zinc color after we try to clean this manually, but I doubt it. I think it's going to require at least a little bit of tumbling from the green pyramids. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But if it does, it's not a big deal either, because we can print, 50 of these and throw them all in the tumbler at once. You don't have to do one at a time like you do on the laser. So, and even then, I mean, I feel like we have the 4-way gate that we can bolt down to this the high density fixture plate the 4-way will let us do 4 of these coins at a time easily. So there's definitely ways to speed this up, but we are prototyping right now, so I don't want to jump the gun if we're unhappy with how this ends up coming out.
Yeah. And we just got another super chat. Laura coming in with I think that's a sunglasses person.
It's
like the deal with it face.
Yeah, he's got his arms crossed and he's just
Thank you,
dealing
Laura.
with it. Thank you, Laura. We appreciate that.
And speaking of, out of 42 people, 74% of them prefer the muted to the sound of the laser.
That is enough.
Probably due to the vacuuming sound.
Yeah, it's pretty obnoxious.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We'll dive into the ASMR engraving another time.
I mean, at some point I'm going to have to go out there. So it'll be unmuted for the 26% of you that want to hear it. But for now I'm going to hide in the office. Look
Heirloom
at that text,
says,
man.
Yeah. Heirloom says he's got a lady chatting him up for coins for $7.50 to $10 a piece. I would push that price up.
If you're going deep. I mean, if you're just doing a surface marking, whatever.
If you're doing like a 1 to 2 minute mark on them, that's fine. And especially in bulk. But if these are going to be unique in any particular way or going to take you a long period of time, the going rate for coins is much higher.
Much higher, for sure. And another super chat here from Sensoka. Learning a lot from this stream. Much appreciated. Glad that you're getting something out of it. It's been a long time since we've been able to do stuff like this because we've been so busy with the marketplace, so busy with LBX, and just about everything else. So, I'm having, this is like a blast for me. Like, I'm just stoked to be able to be here and hang out with you guys today and do something like this. Because I feel like I never get to do it anymore. Laser Everything got, we went from like a hobby to like a real business very quickly. And I have not had the time to play with lasers as much as I've wanted because we're out there, we're doing our web services and we're building the community and we're building the marketplace and trying to come up with all these things that will help serve you guys. But that takes a lot of my direct attention. And so I'm not able to do stuff like this as often as I used to. And so this is really, really fun for me. So I'm glad you're getting something out of it too.
Yeah.
Alexander's asking, do you think that CNC is better for doing engravings on a coin rather than a laser? It's probably much faster. I'm not sure. I'm not a CNC expert. I'm not sure what kind of detail you can get out of a CNC machine. I'm sure that there are, setups that can mirror the quality of detail that we're seeing from the laser. But I don't honestly know that much about it. I think it would probably be faster, but it would probably also be a lot more complex just based on my limited knowledge of CNC machines. I think it would be a lot harder to program this for a CNC over something like a laser. I think it's much simpler.
I think it would also depend on if you're doing a hobby level CNC or like $100,000, Tormac or something. Like,
yeah, totally.
Your level of quality is really going to depend on the bits you're using and also the level of detail that the gantry and motors are capable of producing with stepping.
Yeah, I mean, Frank is in here too. Frank's saying CNC is quicker but less detail, which is what I would assume. Again, not being an expert in that technology, that would be something that I'd love to sink my teeth into in the channel or on a channel at some point. Kyle and I are in the kind of beginning stages of prepping 3DP everything, which will be our 3D printing channel. That is going to be a very different experience from Laser Everything because Laser Everything, we know exactly what we're doing. 3DP Everything will be a little bit more of like a learn alongside us while we learn because I think both of us are really new to that. But maybe someday down the line we can get into CNC, as we grow the empire and the community. I'd love to get into more maker technologies because that's always something that's really interested me.
Laser Everything, watch us be idiots that are professionals and know what we're doing.
Yeah.
3D JPT everything. Watch us be idiots that know absolutely nothing but are having a ball doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Frank says, anyone know a source for coin blanks in Canada? Found brass ones on the market, but US shipping only.
Swiss, right? No?
Swiss Bui or well, Swiss Bui was US
Swiss
only
in
for a
Canada?
while too. No, he's in the US.
The US.
But he might ship to Canada. I'm not sure. There's another one. What's the other one from Bui Swiss?
I'm thinking. I have it linked on the website. Let me go look.
Yeah, it's not a new name to the Laser Everything community, but we'll think of it. Alex is looking.
Yep.
But there's some options that ship internationally. I'm not familiar with any that are local to Canada. There may be some out there.
It's Umbury.
Umbury. There we go. Umbury. And
here,
I'm fairly certain they do ship internationally.
I'm going to just I'm going to kind of take you guys' attention away just for a second because I think this is worth talking about here. Let me move this over, and I'm going to just share my screen here. So if you come to lasereverything.net and you go to the buying guide and come to the buying guide here, it looks like this.
It would help if I pulled it up.
Thank you. We have a ton of different links. This whole last one here is just links to third-party suppliers. And under laser blanks, if we scroll down, we have our two favorite coin sellers right here, Swiss Bui and Umbury. And they have very different kinds of offerings, but they're both super high quality, and they sell a ton of different stuff. The coin that we're prototyping for right now, I'd love to just show you guys this. Again, this is just to kind of be like a 2024 fundraiser for Laser Everything and the stuff that we want to do this year. There will be a limited run of these made, and they will have a somewhat hefty price tag, but I think you guys are really going to enjoy them. For this first design, we are going for 304 stainless steel, and I think we're pretty sold on the straight knurled edge. So this is kind of what we're prototyping for right now without wasting these nicer coins. They are $3.50 a piece in USD, but they're very nice. So this is what our first run of these Laser Everything coins will go on. So, check out both Swiss Bui and Umbury are both really, really good places to get coins. Trusted sellers, individuals, not giant companies, making things by hand. So one or the other of these guys has to ship to Canada. Like, absolutely.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, if not, another option. Let me make the engraving bigger. Another option would be you could, if you have a local metal shop, machine shop, you can ask them what it would cost to make bulk blanks for you if you need a lot of them.
Yeah, sure.
That's one way of getting something a little more unique that you may not be able to get in mass production as well. So if you want something a little special with a little more special knurling, you can work with somebody local to try and make that happen. I know a couple of people who've needed a lot of coins that just could not be supplied by the typical coin culprits out there that we use. So they went to somebody local, got a big, round bar stock, and worked with them to get something really cool and crazy looking. So you got some options.
Yeah.
C. Barone says, "Take my money."
Hey, dude, I'm glad people are stoked about it. We have 93 viewers, by the way, right now.
Smash that like button if you're enjoying hanging out, guys.
Please do, guys. And if you think of it, please come back after the stream and leave a comment. Nothing helps our videos reach new people and grow our audience and our community like leaving comments, especially on stuff that you enjoy watching. So, if you think of it after the stream is over, that would be excellent. What make and model is the vacuum? Doyle asked. It's the X-Tool extractor, actually. So it was sent to me by X-Tool for a review of the X-Tool F1, which we haven't done yet. We've just done an unboxing. And I don't have my permanent like exhaust setup set up in the new studio yet, so I figured we'd give it a shot. Actually, it's doing very well. I was out there for
I'm
quite
impressed.
a while. I haven't smelled anything yet, and zinc in particular gets really irritating really quickly. It's been doing a good job, so I'm pretty happy with it. It's not an ideal setup, but it's doing what I need it to do right now.
Yeah. Richard says, just encraved my Mactron FP100 3D. Looking forward to getting it dialed in this weekend. Awesome. You got the big boy and it's 3D. I mean, good luck with the 3D. It's not something we've dove into yet, but I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun. And it is a beast of a laser with that source. So have a good time, man. Tennessee says, thanks, Alex. John says, hey, cool stream and angles. Definitely liking the setup in detail.
Cool.
And Heirloom, your initial and a number that you made. So a set would maybe say number 6K or number 6G or number 6Z.
Yeah.
I imagine for who made it. That would be cool. Yeah, we can think into that a little bit.
Play around with it. I really like this. You guys can't, it's not perfectly in focus at the moment, but the P here, just above the 001 there at the bottom, there's a P, which stands for prototype. And I'd love to do like an A or a K there to signify which one of us actually put the laser work in. I think that would be a really cool way to do it.
Yeah. Michigan Laser Guy says anneal plus wobble equals black. We'll have to play with that. You could do wobble with trying to do colored marking. The problem with that is you can end up with inconsistencies in color because as it goes to loop, you're not giving even coverage to every area. So you may end up with like a wavy looking rainbow kind of deal, or, wavy black, gray, black, or darker black, sooty black, different variants of colors kind of thing going on. But have at it, give it a try. There's only one way to learn sometimes, and that's sometimes to just put the time in and test. At least that's been my experience with wobble. Doing like rainbowy color stuff with wobble is a little more forgiving because you're looking for inconsistency. But I guess it just depends on what you're trying to do.
I've been starring something that I want to talk about. If you want to just go on the list.
Yeah, I'm still like 20 minutes behind catching up.
I just read every single comment. So if you want to just go to the starred ones, I'm pretty much caught up now.
All right. Corey says, great to see the live stream of you guys being creative. Have listened to all the Laser Everything podcasts and emergency stops. Thanks for watching, hanging out.
EmergencyStop.net, guys. Go listen to our comedy podcast. It's really funny.
Yeah. A little bit of dark humor, not for the kids being around, but it's a good time. And yeah, it's good to be back live doing projects, in person again. Greg says faster would be to do this as a negative in steel and then strike them with a press and annealing brass, but that's not Laser Everything. That is true.
It'd be cool though.
Yeah. If you wanted to do some kind of like, I know a lot of people who do like tooling punches, or press, whatever you call them, out of tooling steel. They'll do like really deep engraves and then use those for punches, for anything from leather to metal, but not really how we go about stuff. Corey says, if you get into CNC, then give me a shout. CNC programmer here. Yikes. Good to know. To know.
Big brain over here.
That's a dangerous offer. We may have to take you up on that sometime.
Yeah.
Frank says, I'll sign up for 3DP everything. It would be nice to know what you know. When it comes to 3D printing, not a lot. But
yeah, nothing. I started that one just
share it all,
say, yeah, I started that one just to say we know nothing. That's going to be the whole shtick, is that you guys will be learning alongside us for that one, because we have virtually no idea what we're doing. Kyle knows a little bit more than me. but we're both very, very fresh with 3D printing. So it's not going to be like Laser Everything where you come and we have all of the answers all the time. It's definitely going to be more of like a trial and error learning experience thing.
Yeah, I ordered my 3D printer late November. I spent a weekend setting it up since it's a little bit more involved, and I'm just getting my first successful prints off of it like recently. So it's a learning process. But if we can do it, you guys can do it. Heirloom says, I'm surprised by the lack of cleaning passes. Everywhere else I have seen wants 2 or 3 passes and then a cleaning pass. It all depends on what you're doing.
And your settings. We opted here for high speed and like medium to high power. So a lot of people that are utilizing cleaning passes to push dirt and soot and dust out of the way are really cranking down on it with the power. So they're doing a very high power and a very low speed, which causes a lot more buildup. This is more of a hybrid setting. We're at 1,000 speed, 80 power at 25 frequency. And the frequency is a little lower than max, actually. I think my max pulse power comes in at like 200 nanoseconds. It's around 45 kilohertz. So we are keeping this a little softer and opting to run the passes a little bit faster. And in doing so, we're actually kind of saving ourselves the cleaning passes because we aren't chewing through it so hard. And we aren't doing it for that reason. I'm not running it lighter in order to avoid doing cleaning passes. I'm running it lighter because it's a highly detailed image, and we're trying to maintain those details through the engraving process, especially as we start to get super deep here and the angles start to come into play. But the side effect of that is that for something like this, it's not really needed. The laser is moving fast enough and hitting lightly enough. And don't get me wrong, it's 80 watts at 80% power. I mean, we're definitely hitting this thing, but we're moving fast enough and light enough that it's not really necessary here. But again, it's situational. We could certainly run a cleaning pass right now. It's not going to hurt anything, but I don't think that there's much to benefit at this power and speed. So that's why you're not seeing any from us right here on this particular job.
Yeah. Another factor too is because we are intending to post finish these in a tumbler, or potentially a wet and a dry tumbler. We don't really have a great need for needing these to come off the plate ready to hand to a customer, right? We're intending to post process these, which is probably not something you guys are used to listening to us say. Generally, our use case is we want it to come off the laser bed ready to hand to the person it belongs to next. And this is a little different for us. Frank wants to know, could you use a rotary to do your own knurling? I mean, technically, you could. It would probably not be fun doing that because it would take a long time to process. But yeah, you could if you wanted to do something really special on the edge. It would be really interesting trying to make sure that the engrave also went across the entire edge if you needed it to be consistent. That'd be something cool to try at some point, maybe.
What?
Knurling the edge yourself with the laser.
Oh yeah,
doing like a specialty.
I was thinking about that. You'd need, like, if you had a rotary, you'd need to be able to grip the coin somehow in the center from like both ends, so you can get all the way around the coin without the teeth getting in the way. So you'd have to like pressure. You would grab. You would need so like a spring-loaded rotary chuck like I have for wine tumblers. Yeah, but like with 2 flat ends would do it. Yeah, you could. I mean, I was thinking about 3D printing a TPU, almost like a suction cup. Right. That could be the solution for something like that before you engrave the front and back face of it. So you can still once it's engraved, the suction cup's not going to do anything. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would be interesting to experiment with for sure. Even if it was like a MacGyvered solution, would be cool. Yeah. Yep.
Makers and Joe says, just finished the 3D printing truck jaws for the D80 while washing your coin. Hoping to get some more jig options with the 3D printed ones. I have an interesting video planned with the 3D printer and lasers. More on that later.
Totally.
Don't want to ruin the surprise. Alexander, high power 50 plus watt fiber / MOPA lasers. Will the material get hot and bend if it's exposed for a long time with the laser? We have a 20 watt fiber, and when we do a lot of passes, the metal bends. That's going to be the case for everything. It's all about heat exposure, how fast you're able to work through the material, how many passes you need to hit it with to be
and how
effective.
fast you can sink away the heat.
Yep. And also what lens size you're working with is also going to impact that because, for example, like I was saying before, if you're using a 300 millimeter lens, like a work area lens versus a 110 and you only need 80 millimeters of workspace square, you're expanding that dot size and the power density is so huge that you're actually bleeding energy over to the edge. And it's not doing any work for you. It's just
here, like, don't get me wrong, this coin is probably super hot right now. But a lot of that heat energy is being converted into like ablation. We're ablating the material. We're removing material from this coin, and that's using up some of the energy. When you're defocused with a large lens, all of that energy is being transferred to the material as heat. So it builds up much quicker than when you're doing something like an ablation. But that said, like, yeah, thin materials, I showed it a little earlier in the stream. I can show it again later. But they make special vices that will hold thinner metals in place and keep them from bending so that you can do those materials without necessarily having to deal with the warp. And if you can't afford or get one for whatever reason, then I would really recommend giving the material some breaks. That's what I did back in the day when I was running the job shop. I would literally run, if I had 50 passes planned on a thinner sheet of metal, I'd run them like 10 at a time with like a 10-minute break in between just to let them cool down. There are some other neat tricks online. A lot of people have done fiber through water, which I still think is sketchy. There's got to be like some kind of refraction of the light waves through the water.
Yeah. It's weird.
Just as an example, I'm not saying run out and do it. Or some people will literally use heat sinks, like PC heat sinks, like that kind of technology to sink heat away from the part, and I've seen that be really successful. But the simplest solution is something like a spreader that'll just hold the metal in place while you're marking it, and then it can cool forced in that position, so that when you remove it from the vise, it's not going to warp or bend or anything like that. So that'd probably be my recommendation for most people.
Yeah. I'm not even going to try that name. Says, I buy all of my supplies from Alibaba, not from U.S. sellers. I'm guessing that was in regard to the coins we were talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
At least in terms of the two people we mentioned, they both make their own coins. So Bui Swiss actually runs his own mini lathe, gets his own sheet stock, sources everything himself, and that's made like in his own shop. Umberry, as far as I'm aware, also create their own. So you may find some US resellers reselling stuff, and that's totally a thing. But to each their own.
Yep.
Bowers, will you run a cleaning pass at the end?
I'll probably do one just so that we can get a nice look at the coin, but if not for any functional reason.
Maybe it'll be a good opportunity to share the very quick and dirty description of what a cleaning pass is actually for.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole
we get that as a
that,
question.
As part of your LMA course, Applied Laser. I think it's like 103 or 104 will be basic laser skills. And in that, you'll have an entire lesson just on cleaning passes, what they are, why they exist, and what properties
what changes
they have
between materials.
That makes them special. So keep an eye on that. If you're not already signed up for the LMA, go sign up for the LMA because Kyle will be working on that soon.
Yep. How Have you measured the temp of the coin as is being engraved?
No, but I can go do it right now.
You can even use that
fancy little thermal gun. Yeah, definitely. In fact, I might pop it into the over the shoulder view for that, so that you guys can check it out while I do it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. I'll go do that right now. Oh, let me wrap up with the here. We did this coin temp. I wanted to answer this one really quick. Makers and Joe said, I did a coin a while back, and for the life of me, I couldn't get a setting to get the brass color back. Any general recommendations? I got the 60-watt MOPA wisely. Really, this is where you would use a cleaning pass, and it's never going to restore the original finish of the metal, because the laser is always taking away material, always. And you simply can't polish a metal with a laser, like inherently. You can't do that. So if you're trying to get the original look of the metal back, what you really want is something like a vibratory tumbler. I have two really good ones here at the shop that I got on Amazon. I did an unboxing for them a while ago. If you're curious just as to like which one it is, and you can take a look at it. It comes with wet and dry media. And that's what we're planning on doing with this coin to try to restore that original look. You can get kind of close with laser, but it's never going to be what it was. And if you're really stuck on wanting that, I highly recommend something like a vibratory tumbler. They don't have to be crazy expensive, and they're very easy to use, and that will give you that look. So you can hit it with a cleaning pass before you take it off the bed, and then you go and you just chuck it into your tumbler, and you come back and a day later or whatever, and it looks like clean brand new metal again. So that's really what I would recommend, and I just want to make sure I answered that before I left. But yeah, I'll go heat gun that real quick, and we'll see what kind of temps we're looking at for sure.
Yeah. In terms of media in the tumbler too, since we're talking about it, there's different types of media you can throw into the vibratory tumbler, and you can also do wet and dry. So you may be able to get away with doing just a couple hours or even an hour or two, or you may have to go overnight, a day, 2 days, depending on what media you're using and what kind of look you're trying to get back out of it. He's booting it up. Alex, can you hear me? No, he doesn't have his headset on. It's too much light reflection. I'm sure he'll tell us what's going on.
All right, I'm back, and the max temp I saw was like 188 degrees Fahrenheit. But I actually went ahead and took a video so I could drop it onto the PC real quick and show you guys.
Nice.
Yeah. If you guys didn't know, this thermal camera that we got from Kai Wheats, they sent the multimeter when we did the power supply testing video. They just sent me a thermal camera, and the freaking thing takes videos. It's very cool. So I'm gonna just drag and drop this really quick from the internal storage. It's got 32 gigabytes of onboard storage, which is super cool. And I have Kyle and I were actually just working on the unboxing video for it right before we started this stream. So that'll be out soon if you're curious. Let me see. I'm just going to present and share my screen again with you guys really quick here. And you can check this out. So let's go ahead and run this. So here you go. This is the view here. It's not a crazy resolution thermal camera. It's about $400, but you get 256 by 192. And it does give you temps live. So here you guys can see the yellowish green is our coolest temp. The red is our hottest temp. And then the white is our point temp right there in the center. And I'm seeing it cap at like 180 something, 190. You can see it pop up there pretty regularly. I'll go ahead and play that again just in case you didn't get
right
to
at the ablation point.
Yeah, right at the when it does decide to track right at that spot. If I really wanted an accurate temp, I'd be using that white dot and aiming it a little more at the, ablation area instead of relying on the max temp that's jumping around, and we would get a more accurate temperature. But for the purposes of this right now, I just kind of wanted to show you guys what it was capable of doing. So it's pretty cool that we're able to do this. So that's that. So about 188 ish degrees right now would be my guess, just based on what I saw there. So
yeah. Mike C says, what kind of 3D printer did you buy, Kyle? FDM or resin? I got a FDM printer. It is a Trudon 2.0 from Formbot. It's basically based on a Voron, but it's sort of pre-built. So instead of spending 60 hours building it, I spent like 6 hours building it. So it's kind of like the Lazy Man's Voron, sort of. So you can still fully customize it, and it's a Core XY. But with me being a noob, I don't really have thoughts or opinions to share about it yet. It's their customer service has been great so far. And the issues I have had have been partially my fault. So there'll be more later and when we get to videos on it. How deep is he going, Kyle? Until we think it's deep enough. That's how deep. Greg says, if you guys could, when you have streams like this, put some of the settings on the bottom of the screen, that would be cool.
I started that one because we didn't really have time for it today, but I wanted to run this stream out of OBS, which would allow us to do overlays like that. But instead we're using StreamYard just for the sake of time. Kyle and I just wanted to get in here and get this live going. It's already been 2 hours and we haven't even started the second side of this yet. So I really just wanted to get started today, but in the future, that's definitely something that we can look at doing for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of which, given the time, if you guys are enjoying this, hit the like button.
Yeah, please do.
I think that's the end of the stars, right? So I'll start reading.
Yeah, sure. We had one more. MI Laser guy was saying, do you guys protect the power input for your machines? They were talking about UPSs in the comments.
Alex usually runs a surge protector on his end, right? For pretty much anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, so just regular surge protectors, though. I live in Northwest New York, so we don't have blackouts and brownouts, and we get really clean power from the hydroelectric dam. So I'm kind of spoiled in that way. I almost never lose power. If I was really nervous that I was going to, like we had a big snowstorm coming in, which is about the only thing that ever interferes with power out here, I probably would just wait it out. But you know, I could certainly get on board with UPS. I don't think that it's a bad idea at all. You just have to make sure you get something that can handle the amperage your machine is pulling, which shouldn't be very high, honestly. These machines don't pull a lot of current. So
no, what does pull a lot of current is your chiller and your exhaust system.
Yep.
Or if you have an extractor, that'll pull a lot of amperage too. Sometimes
I wouldn't even argue you need to. I mean, like, if
protect
the
the
power
machine
goes out and you pause the job, I don't think that having the chiller turn off when you lose that power, because the UPS isn't meant to run them. You're not finishing the job. You know what I mean?
But a lot of machines won't output laser power if it doesn't sense a chiller pushing water.
Yeah, that's true.
So the laser will keep moving, and you'll lose laser output, which means you've lost your steps anyway.
Yeah.
Depending on your setup, I guess it all depends. But just make sure whatever you plug into it is rated for, what it can handle. If you overdraw on a UPS and damage it, it's kind of a big waste and could also be a fire hazard.
Dude, we got for like 3 seconds, we got so close to 100 viewers. If you guys haven't already, please share this. Please share this stream. This is like record numbers for us, believe it or not. And I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the content so much. I'd love to break 100 today. So if you can think of somewhere where you think this would be appreciated, please go ahead and smash the share button while you're down there hitting the like button, and we'll try to get the handful more people we need in here to break that 3-digit mark.
I know it hasn't been discussed, but the whole like me building a shop thing being on hold. If I could afford it, I was considering actually getting a Tesla wall and solar setup, so I'd have battery failover. I don't really get a lot of brownouts either, but when we do lose power, sometimes it can be for a couple days. It doesn't happen frequently. It's usually when a boatload of trees have landed on power lines, and it's usually like a cascade effect problem in my area. But I also live right next to a police station and a hospital, so not typically a problem on my grid.
I think Frank Taylor's out.
Later, night, Frank.
Thanks for hanging out, man.
Yeah.
Oh, he's saying night to heirloom game calls. Just can't take y'all into the shower. See, yeah, that's all right, man. You go ahead and you take your shower. We'll probably be here when you get out if you're bored.
That's fair. That's fair. I think we're almost caught up. There was a lot of conversation going on about mirrors that we kind of missed out on, but I haven't done a ton of mirrors, so I don't really have a whole lot of feedback on that. Have you done a lot of mirrors?
Mirrors? No, I've never done a single mirror. Though the thing that I really want to do, that's been sitting in the back room in the laser shop on the laser shop side of the building for a long time, has been the Romark mirror, which is acrylic.
Laser acrylic, yeah.
Dude, it's just sitting in there, and it taunts me every time I go over to that shelf, and I'd love to play with that. Maybe a future live stream or something. That would be really cool to mess around with.
There's a lot of cool inlay signage you can do with that stuff too.
Yeah, dude, it would
do multicolor cutouts, and
I think you can just
piece them together.
Literally just engrave off the back of it. I'm pretty sure that's what it's made for. We'll mess around with it when I get a CO2 up in the studio side. I'm ordering casters for all of the tables that the lasers are sitting on so that we can just roll lasers in and out. But I had to use a cart for the fiber today because the casters haven't arrived yet. So once we get those tables on casters, it'll be a lot easier for me to get the bigger CO2s in and out, and we can mess around with that a bit here and there too. But I haven't done mirrors, no.
Frank says, how does he keep his hands so steady? Looks like lag, but the laser is going. The secret is Alex was secretly a physician in the past. He was a surgeon. He did everything by hand.
I was going to say that was my robot body double. Yeah. I actually have really shaky hands because I drink a lot of caffeine. So maybe some sort of optical illusion. My hands shake like nobody's business.
You know what it is? It's when you're trying, they shake, and when you're not, they're stable.
Yeah, true.
Greg says he's got UPSs on some of his 3D printers. Should probably put some on the laser. Thanks for the idea. Yeah, it's not a bad thing to do. Just at a very minimum, I suggest surge protectors just in case something does happen. But power backup can be helpful in the case that you want to save the job that it's working on.
Yeah,
if you do a lot of long jobs,
a decent UPS.
Yeah,
to do damage control.
At a very minimum, long enough to pause it, and you can turn the machine off and keep the computer on so it can, be started back up again in the same position if needed. But I mean, if you do a lot of short jobs, probably not a huge concern, especially if it's not like really high cost product. If you do a lot of long jobs that are batch work, I mean, a lot is on the line and you have a lot of material and high cost going. That's certainly adds to the cost proposition of keeping a good battery backup going.
Nova Etch is heading out for the night. Night, man. Thanks for with us.
Yep. Thanks for hanging.
I really like I like where we're at on the depth. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm not going to stop it, but I think whenever this wraps up, I'm going to be content with where we ended up. And we'll probably wait to do the second side. Maybe tomorrow, like earlier in the day, we can do the reverse.
We can share the coverage with the earlier crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, if you're on the East Coast, it's 10 o'clock p.m. right now. But I definitely want to see this through. I'd like to finish it.
Yeah, well, it'll be good to get this guy done. We can have a functional prototype and see what we want to do about, updates, changes, if anything.
Mm-hmm. Corey says 3 a.m. in Scotland.
Oh, man.
Brute.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, man.
How far along, or how long for this coin? At our current setup, 100 minutes total. I don't even know how long we've been going for, because we didn't start when the stream started. Because that would put us at 120 minutes. If we started when the stream started, I'd say maybe like 30 minutes in, we really began with the coin. So
thereabouts. Yeah.
We've maybe done 90 minutes on this. We should be wrapping up pretty soon. But it's hard to tell. Lightburn won't tell me because of the way I set the job up. So
here's a good one that I do want to touch on.
Sure.
Pop says, I have a jet dust collection system, 1100 CFM for my woodworking tools. I'm wondering if I can hard pipe it to use with my CO2 and fiber. Any thoughts? Yes. I would caution you if you were going to do that, only because, as you know, wood particles are very flammable. Depending on where you duct your laser in, you could potentially be adding material that may ignite other things on fire that are flammable. So at least on my system, I have my fiber galvos and everything on a separate exhaust system for my CO2 for a reason. Am I just being overcautious? I don't know, but I would do your due diligence and safety on that, because if you
if you like suck up an ember,
fire, not even just an ember, but like if you use the same ducting and it's a short route from your fiber to a long route of ducting that's used for wood, it is not difficult to ignite those wood particles on fire because you're actively blowing oxygen past it. So just use caution, please. I don't want to see somebody. We've had a lot of shot fires reported this year from people, and I don't want to see another one, and I don't want to see anybody get hurt. So please be careful.
We did make the 3-digit mark, by the way. We're at 105 viewers live right now. So, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're here with us live, it's great to have you.
We are at 69 likes.
MI Laser Guy, MI Laser Guy said the coin started at an hour 20 in the stream. Did we really spend an hour 20 getting prepped?
Maybe backwards from where we are now in terms of a timestamp.
Oh, minus 120. Okay, got it. So 8.
So that would be an hour and 20 minutes spent on it then from this point.
Okay, so that'd be 80 minutes. So so like 20 minutes left then from when he made that comment. Yeah.
So that's, I mean, given the fact that this is completely unoptimized in a test, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even be I'm honestly, for what we're going to charge for these, I'm not unhappy with that runtime for each side. Honestly, guys, these are going to be like $100. And so I'm okay with that time. I'm really looking for quality here. We want to produce the highest quality result that we absolutely can for you guys. So,
and that's not including post-processing, and
that's not including post-processing and stuff. So I think like 200 minutes for $100 that sounds pretty good to me. And it's something that we can just run here at the office when we're working on other things and get these out for you guys so that, you've got a little Laser Everything memento. It's a limited edition, limited run. Each run for each season is going to have its own custom artwork. So they'll only be produced once with that artwork, which will be really cool. What you're seeing right now is the face of the coin. So this will always be the same. The reverse side is what's going to be different. And I actually have the reverse side up on screen right now. I can show you guys what that's going to look like. So here you can see our face, our coin face here. On the left, this is the first season, so spring 2024, the first season's artwork. Features this really cool polar bear, and he's kind of like praising the lightning bolt with this crowd of polar bears in the background. It's pretty awesome. I'm really, really happy with how it looks. So this artwork will be changing each season, and you guys will be able to check that out. So, we'll take a look at that another time, but oh my God. So we'll take a look at that another time, but yep.
Good stuff. Let's see. A lot of questions about how long the coin's running for, so we already caught up on that. Greg says late night streams are the GOAT, East Coast here. Yeah. I kind of miss my, my night owl streams. Hoping that's something we can get back to this year. I know that's something that we were lacking on, or I was lacking on. So I'm hoping we can get back to that too.
John's asking when these will be up for sale. I don't know. I honestly,
when they're ready.
Yeah, when they're ready. We're not in a rush. We're like, I really, really want this to be like super nice and extremely high quality.
We want it to be worthwhile.
Yeah, this is the very first prototype ever. We've never ever done any work for this outside of like digital artwork so far. So this is the first time that we're trying to see how kind of like our artistic ideas for this project will look in reality. So this will inform some of our decisions going forward. I don't think about how long it's going to take with this project in particular, just because I don't want to rush it. I don't want it to be subpar in any way. I really want it to be just super nice for you guys. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated. It's something that I want to start doing pretty regularly. And like I was saying earlier in the stream too, you might have missed it, but different designs will use different materials. This one is the polar bears, so I really want to go for that stainless look for this because it's supposed to have kind of like an icy, cooler feeling, and I just don't think like brass or copper would be appropriate for that. But we have a lot of other artwork that we've been playing with too. So even the coin material and or size may change down the line. We'll be definitely giving you guys updates as we kind of figure things out. I don't have a final price. I don't know what the final runtime is going to be. You guys are getting to see this right now, like super, super duper early in the process. As always, Laser Everything, we're like incredibly transparent here about what we're doing. And the whole point of this project was to, make you guys something cool, celebrate the community, and try to, raise some funds for some of the things that we want to experiment with in 2024. So, I think this is going to meet all of those goals, but I don't want to rush it. Gypsy says, I lurk a lot, but like your live streams. Thanks. Appreciate it watching. We're super glad to have you. And they asked a follow-up question. Is that silver? No. We're, like I was saying, prototyping right now. So this is a zinc alloy coin from Cloud Ray. It's super inexpensive. They're like a dime a dozen. And if we mess it up or we don't like the way it came out, we're not really losing out on anything. The final product will probably be in stainless steel. It's a nice cross between quality material, and at the same time, inexpensive enough that we can utilize the funds to, expand Laser Everything projects down the road. So the final product for this particular coin, probably stainless steel. This one that we're doing right now for prototyping is a zinc alloy. And Chris is asking, ever worry about thermal expansion affecting the detail? There are other things that I think will cause issues before thermal expansion, most notably the angle at which the galvo is scanning down onto the coin. The deeper you get, the more apparent that angle becomes, and it can really start to chew away at the details that you've worked to develop on your higher layers. When you're working through your lower layers, you start to like kind of almost carve out underneath those top end details, and that can make them really fragile, and it can also make them seem like unnecessarily thin. We tried to jig this up. I may have to change the jigging later, just because that is something I'm particularly worried about, to get this even more center than it is right now, because we are kind of about an inch off center right now. So I'm definitely concerned about that being an issue at some point. Thermal expansion, sure, it could be a problem at some point. We just did take a temperature measurement. We're only at about 188 degrees Fahrenheit. I say only, but that's half what you bake your bread at in the oven. So it's hot, but it's not that hot. So I think for the most part, we're safe on that. But that's something that we'll continue to monitor as well as time goes on.
Yep. Laser of Love Creation says she'd love to stay longer, but she's beat. It's time to go to bed. That's understandable. She has long days. So
go to bed,
we
girl.
Appreciate you hanging out.
Get out of here.
Thank you so much. Love you. Have a good night.
John said, never bought a limited edition from any other I follow. That would be a first for me. So selfishly wanted to know. Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have about this. I don't think that it's going to explode. I don't think that, a million people are going to buy these, but I think for the people that do, it'll be something cool and special. And we're going to try to make it nice. We were kicking around some ideas earlier today about doing just like little tins for them, and not going crazy, but just like a nice little decorative tin, and maybe one of the thicker like 0.8 millimeter aluminum cards that we can engrave as kind of like a certificate of authenticity, where the serial number matches that on the coin, so that you have both. They kind of validate each other. So we're kicking around some, ideas to make sure that this is something special for the people that decide that they want to pick up one.
Yeah. Did we mark the edge of the coin for and the fixture plate for face and tail alignment? No. So basically, we can flip this and do the tail end. The pins in the bed that you see will help keep it aligned, just centered. But in this initial process, we're not really worried about flipping it and keeping it aligned. We just want to kind of see how it looks, get an idea of what we need to change, what we want to update, what we like, what we don't like, kind of get a feel for the design itself and how it's coming out in a physical space rather than a digital space.
Yeah. And Anthony's in chat here giving us a hard time about some dang Holy Trinity coins or Holy Quadrilogy or whatever the heck for us diode dudes and chicks. I did start playing around with a design for that. I think that'll end up being season 2. For season 1, I kind of wanted to do something like cold and icy because it is winter, especially up here in Rochester, New York. So I felt like this would be appropriate for the season 1. But for season 2, we can definitely look at maybe doing like a Holy Trinity coin or something like that. I think working that into this set will make the set more popular. So that's going to be something that I think we include in this project for sure.
Yeah.
Outnumbered says I shared in the Michigan Laser group. Thank you so much, Outnumbered. We appreciate you sharing the stream. And Greg C's asking, can you overwork a laser? I've been running it hard for a few days and I come back to it a minute ago and it won't mark. A 30 watt Raycus. I mean, so why won't, like, in what way is it not marking? Like, will the laser not fire at all, or is it firing and you're not getting like the same reaction that you usually got? Typically the answer to this question is going to be no, unless you're having some sort of thermal issue. The first thing that I would do is open your case and check for dust, especially in and around the fans. And not
after unplugging your machine.
After unplugging your machine, and still then be careful. Like things like the EMI filter hold a charge for a long time, as I learned firsthand when I did my EasyCAD 3 downgrade video. I electrocuted myself not once but twice recording that video. So
the first time wasn't enough.
If you don't know what you're doing, consult an electrician. But open your case, check the fans, especially the fans on the laser source, for blockage and dust. Lasers often won't fire because they're getting an overtemp error, even if they're not overtemp, because of debris that is causing issues with your cooling system. And that's particularly an issue with air-cooled machines. So that would be the first thing I would check. But if you have any more details about, in what way it's not firing, I'd like to hear. Make sure, obviously, hey, we're done. Make sure to check things like your lens cap isn't on, and make sure like it sounds stupid, but double check your focus. Maybe somebody touched it. Triple check that your laser source is powered on, not just your machine. A lot of machines have a separate button for turning on the source. So you might have just forgotten to click the button there. It could be something little like that. It may not necessarily be a disaster. I'm going to let you take over here for a second, Kyle. If you can unmute the
shop. I got you.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and set up a cleaning pass, and we can talk a little bit about cleaning passes before we wrap here for the day. So,
all right. Good. So Greg says, it stopped in the middle of the pass. So what I would do for that in that case, it could be software related, it could be USB related, like data connection, or it can be the laser itself. There's a lot of situations that can cause that. I would shut the laser down, turn it back on, reinitialize it with the software, and try from there. You could even try restarting the software. Just to make sure that everything is syncing up properly, and go from there. Sometimes it can be software. talking to the controller, and it's just something's unhappy. When it comes to USB, like data connection related, if anything jostled the USB cable going over to the computer, that can also be a factor. It's you want to make sure that your connection is stable, and if you're finding that you're having intermittent connection between your computer and the laser, that can be the start of a problem for you. Just as a couple of starter troubleshooting steps. Fly ZI Fabrication says, I must admit, I've left my lens cap on more than once. Luckily, I work in the semiconductor industry as a day job and specialize in optics. Cleaning the muck was a breeze. Still embarrassing. We've all done it. It's kind of just one of those things where it's like a barrier to entry. Everyone's done it once. If they haven't done it once, the likelihood every day of it occurring at least once goes up by 1. So don't feel bad about it. Just take it as a learning experience. At least it hasn't happened twice.
Kyle,
right?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Is there a shortcut for pasting in place once you cut in Lightburn?
I can't recall.
I don't want to copy and paste the X and Y coordinates. That's so annoying.
No, don't do that. Resize your second side first, if that's what you're doing. Oh, wait, no.
No, I'm trying to remove.
You're just changing.
I want to. So if you throw Lightburn up, I'll show you what I'm doing really quick.
I think I already know what you're doing, and I think I already have a shortcut for you, but I want to see what you're doing. 1 sec.
To answer the question in chat, just while Kyle does that, about selling the file so people could make their own, I've certainly thought about it, but I think one of the things we discussed when we started this project was that we really wanted these to be limited run, and that would kind of kill the purpose of that. I think we may be able to do like a separate Holy Trinity coin, because that is something we've talked about on the channel for a long time, where you can make your own. But for these coins, I think we're just gonna stick with the limited run thing. I really think that'll add some value, some collector's value for people that have been with the channel for a long time and they want to, help support in a different way, than like the normal LMA sign up and stuff like that. I think this will be a little bit more treasured for them if they know that they have something that, there maybe is a little more scarcity of.
All right, I changed it and hopped back out so we can let
So all I want to do, and
just give it a second to recover.
Yep, I'm learning all the time, but all I want to do, man, is just like remove this, delete everything, and then drop this back in. But I can't.
Don't do that. So what I would do, set that to a toolpath, all of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, like all of it?
All of it. Yeah.
Okay. Yep, for sure. I can do that.
Like group the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Set it to toolpath and leave it there.
Group tool done.
Okay. And you can turn on show on the toolpath because it's never going to mark.
Yep.
Now generate a circle because you're doing a cleaning pass across the whole thing, right?
That was the idea. Yeah.
Set it to the same size. And set it back to your black layer or whatever layer you want to set the cleaning pass to, and center align it to that, and now you have it perfectly aligned.
Okay. It's kind of dumb, but I'll do it.
It's not dumb.
In Illustrator, it's Control-Shift-V, and if you do Control-Shift-V, it will paste it back exactly where you lifted it from.
Well, we don't have that here.
Yeah.
But there's this cool thing we can do feedback to Lightburn, and we can request stuff on their forum.
I might do that after the stream's over.
You guys get to see me give Alex a hard time.
Okay, so I'm setting this to fill, and we need to do a cleaning pass now. Usually I run my cleaning passes around 50 kilohertz. We may end up doing a second one where we raise this number even more for a finer finish. But for now, I'm going to leave that there. Speed, and I'm always thinking 30 watt settings because my first fiber laser was a 30 watt laser.
You spent years with it too.
Yeah, dude, years with it. Let me see. I might be able to actually load up the library. I think I have the converted library for this. So let me try to load that in really quick. I'm going to come to Drive, not laser everything. We want the laser files folder. Lightburn libraries. 80 watt M7 with the 110 lens. There we go. Great. I had it already. So my normal quote unquote, we're not even doing steel, but my quote unquote normal cleaning pass should be in here. It's steel white finish, and we will
assign.
Assign that to the layer. It's been a minute. If you guys can't tell, speed 750, power 9. That's crazy. That's converted.
80 watts of power, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna just make a couple changes here. I think I want to be more at 50 frequency on this machine. And I don't think 9 is going to do anything. I think we're going to end up coming more towards like 15 here. Just gut instinct on that. And I'm not going to bother framing it because we already know that it's perfectly aligned. But I am going to bother going back into the office and grabbing my safety glasses real quick. So I will be back in a moment. Kyle, if you want to just shoot us back over to the XA75 while I do that.
I got to pop into TeamViewer.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
So we will hit this with a cleaning pass here. We may do one more afterwards, and then I'll probably hit it with a litlittle either ZEP or 3-in-1 oil, depending on just how clean we're able to get it. But I definitely want to see first before I decide which chemical route I want to take. So with everything set, I think we're ready to go here.
Before you just something to double check. Make sure your outputs are set on your layer.
Yeah.
You got your cleanup layer is the only one set to output.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yep. Let's see. Oh. Is my device set to the 30 watt JPT? I guess it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. Your library is what's going to matter.
Yeah, but they were both for I was more worried about the field size, but they're both 110, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm surprised I didn't notice that earlier. One thing I did want to change was the pass count is set to 1 and not 70, which it is. So that's good. So let's go ahead and hit start here, and let's run this, I think, just one time. So we'll go ahead and start it. Wow, dude. Are you seeing this?
I'm seeing it.
And you can actually, if you can hear that, guys, it is ablating a bit. We are getting a little ablation with this, and that's okay. That's what we want. The next pass here, after we've kind of pushed all the soot and dust out of the way, we'll do a little bit higher frequency, so that we're just kind of heating the surface. We may slow the speed down a little bit too. It's not going to anneal like a steel would. It'll give us, more of like just a soft finish because it is, but still I think it'll be worth doing. So we'll just let this finish here. I'm in no rush.
You can also kind of get a picture of potentially how deep that is based off of the amount of black left on the sides of the letters now.
Yeah.
Because that's the side of the letter, literally, in a 3-dimensional shape now.
Yep. It looks even better in person, man. I wish you guys could see this in person. It's deep, bro. It's not, it is not, this is not a shallow mark by any stretch. The banner.
Laura's still here, and she says, "That's good tip." And yes, I stayed. And he goes, "Laura ain't no quitter."
The banner is a particularly convincing illusion. It almost looks like the dark bits, instead of rising, which they are, they almost look like deep until you like kind of move around it a little bit. It's very interesting. It's better than I could have hoped for, honestly. Before we do our next tester on these, I need to align my
Red light.
my red light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that is just incredible, dude. I'll show you guys the head on in a second. As soon as we finish up here, I'm not going to have Kyle switch me back over to Lightburn just because it does take a little while for him to get in. But for this last pass here, that was just if you guys are keeping score on an 80 watt JPT, 750 speed, 15 power, nice, 50 frequency. I'm going to go ahead and bump this up to 150. So we're really raising that frequency limit there. And then I'm going to probably hit this at like 40 power. And I think this should yield some decent results. Then I'm going to bring us back up to 1,000 speed too. Again, just on gut, what we're doing here is I'm definitely putting more energy downrange, right? So we're going from 15 to 40. But that energy is going to be spread out over far more pulses, which should give us a smoother, softer impact. That's really what I'm hoping for here. If we do this right, we shouldn't really hear any ablation. We should just be kind of applying heat to the surface of this coin right now. So we'll see how this comes out. I'm not super versed with zinc. It's not a popular material in my shop, but I'm definitely curious to see how it turns out. So when you get a switch back over, Kyle, I'm ready.
You're good to go.
Okay, here we go. Wow. Okay, so that's quite loud. I'm sure you can hear that, right?
Yep.
But it's too late now. We're not going to interfere with it. So I'm going to let that run, and then we'll make some more adjustments here. And this is why people that were asking, can I polish with a laser? It's very hard. It's very hard to polish with a laser. It's not really something I would say like is even technically like an accurate thing to say. But it is giving it kind of like an interesting finish. It's got kind of like a shine to it. All right, I stopped it right at the end. And let's see what adjustments we can make here. So definitely too much power. Let's take that back down to maybe 20. And I'm going to bump the frequency up even higher because we are not spreading that out quite enough. So now we're going to be at 1,000 speed, 20 power, 200 frequency. We're just looking for something we like here. That's all we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and run this one next. That's better. That's what I was hoping for.
So N Ready says JPT 80 watt means MOPA LP or M7. Specifically, it means only M7 when it comes to JPT.
Yeah.
They did not make an LP 80 watt.
I don't think they made an LP anything higher than 50. I think it's just the 20, 30, and 50.
20, 30, and 50 is accurate. Yep.
Yep.
Unless there's some kind of one-off weird something or other that they don't have a tech sheet for, but I don't know about that.
That's pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
I am getting down in this bottom right corner here, Kyle. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a little bit of like a focal fade almost. You seeing that?
Yeah, we may have to check if your lens is level to the bed.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine for now. Again, we're just prototyping, guys. So, you know, little things like that. I mean, those are reasons why we're using the cheaper coin here, and we're looking for issues like that. So we can definitely check that out as we go. It's in an odd area. It's not where I would expect to be having problems, specifically because I think this corner is the closest to being center with the actual lens itself. It may be a situation where I can just kind of adjust our focus a little bit to get rid of that, to clean that up. I'm still not super happy with this mark. I'm going to take it back down to 10%. Let's let the converter do its job the way it was supposed to. I'm going to slow our speed down a bit here. And we have more range with this frequency because we are on an M7. So I'm going to take the frequency up to 250. So now we're at speed 500, max power 10, frequency 250.
Yep.
Sounds nice. Unfortunately, I think we did some damage with the
Went a little too hard with that first one.
Yeah, the initial cleaning pass there. I'm going to set us back and just give it a set of 10 on auto rotate to try to get rid of some of those peaks and valleys that we introduced.
Yeah.
Because that's less than pleasant. So I'm going to do 1,000 speed, 30 power, and I'm going to bring the frequency. I'm going to bring it back to 25. 45 is really cooking it up. And I'm going to turn our scan angle back to 0. We're going to do 10 passes here. And we're going to turn auto rotate on with the angle increment.
Here.
6.
I switched it back to Lightburn to share that.
Yep. So here it is, guys. So again, we're just going back to where we were initially with our cleaning pass because we're trying to eliminate those peaks and valleys that we just introduced. Because our initial cleaning pass was just a bit too strong. So now we have to make up for it. I also need to turn crosshatch off. So we're going back to our original setup, which was 0.025 on the interval. And we're doing 10 passes. We're starting with a scan angle of 0. And we have auto rotate turned on with an increment of 36. So this should clean that up nicely. And then I think I'm just going to call it there. Certainly mopped those fade lines right up.
Anthony, if you want to post the direct link, you should be able to as a mod. Baruka says, "Where can I buy this machine? I regret buying an X-Tool F1." Don't regret it. It's a tool for a different use case.
You can buy 8 X-Tool F1s for what this machine costs. So don't regret it too much. The X-Tool F1's an excellent beginner machine. And I have one literally 3 or 4 feet behind me, and I'm kind of mad I'm not playing with it. As cool as this machine is, the X-Tool is new, and it's very portable and super unique. And I can't wait to spend a little more time with it. So you've got one hell of a machine there. It's a neat little machine for sure. You're not chewing through coins, obviously. It's a different beast, but
yeah,
I certainly wouldn't make the argument that what you have is bad.
Every tool has its use case. It just depends on what you want to do with it.
I actually kind of like the way this looks. This was kind of the matte finish I was going for. And so I don't burn the shit out of myself, I'm going to go grab the thermal camera again so we can just check temp before I touch it.
That is a good idea.
Every time I peek at a computer, guys, I've been seeing a lot of great like comments and suggestions, and I just want to remind you to please, if you could, leave them as a comment after the live stream is over, just so that I can make sure that I see them, because stuff gets buried in chat really quick, and I'm obviously multitasking. So it looks like we're only at about 75, 80 degrees Fahrenheit on the body of the coin, which is nice.
It's cooled down nicely.
Yeah.
Well, that nice aluminum plate that the coin's sitting on is acting as a little bit of a nice heat sink too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Looks like we're almost there. I may even stop it after this pass. I don't really think we needed 10.
This is starting to get one of those nice what's the finish I'm trying to think of? It's like a brush engraved finish from like those coins you can get at
like sandblasted almost.
At like the mint in like Philadelphia.
I really would oh, go ahead.
It's like the coins you can get that aren't actually currency made by the mint for like people who visit for tours.
Yeah. And I really would like to throw this in the tumbler overnight, which I'm going to do. It's not hot to the touch at all there. So I'm definitely able to pick that up. And let me see if I can get this in focus for you guys so that you can take a look at it there.
In fact, switch to the overhead?
You can. I don't know how well that autofocus is working, but we can certainly try it if you want to.
It was working before, but let's see. I gotta pick the right one. Give it a go.
Typical. It like quits. This camera in particular quits on me on autofocus if the camera's been on for like longer than a half hour. And I don't know why. Just jump back over to the XA just for the sake of time here. And I'm going to just shut the laser down so that we don't have the red dot kind of spoiling the view. So here we go, guys. There's the final face on the first prototype. You can definitely see we've achieved some depth there. It's very cool looking. I really like the minted P. I think it looks pretty cool. And we have good definition on the text.
I'm going to bounce out to make sure I'm not messing with the quality.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure everyone can enjoy that. That's the look I was talking about. Thank you, Frank. Pewter. It's like a pressed pewter look, except better because it's from a laser.
It does have kind of a pewter vibe to it. I'm stoked on the lettering in particular. For me personally, that's the exciting bit. I was nervous about the lettering not coming out right. I'm going to just zoom out a little bit. It's having a little bit of trouble focusing. It's very close to the bed. What do you guys think in chat? Do you like it? Design wise, at least, do you think it makes sense on a coin? I'm really happy with this. What do you think, bro?
I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, me too.
we're definitely, I mean, don't get me wrong, we got some iterations to go through and testing and tuning and
material
getting the look just the way we like it. Yep, we got some materials to burn through to really just get it just right, because obviously we're not the type of people to just throw something out we're unhappy with. But I like the starting point we're at.
Me too. It's nice to see it not on a screen.
Yeah. Something tangible.
If I have time, guys, I'll come back tomorrow and we can do the back. I think tonight I might throw it in the corn cob overnight.
You just see what it looks like tomorrow.
Yeah. Just let it chill in there. The depth is good, though. It's solid. I'll throw a picture up in Discord, too. And probably I'll make a post on the LMA for the LMA members over there. Just like a still so you guys can really see it. I'm sure the video looks great, but it's also streaming and it's very, very sharp to me. It looks really good on camera here, and I want you guys to be able to see it that way. So this is what we started with. Oh, that's right. It's not zinc. We went with the copper nickel. I completely forgot. So this is nickel. I'm looking at copper and nickel here. Totally forgot, man.
That happens.
I've been calling it zinc all night. I love the stars on the crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it just looks really good. Does Chad have anything to say?
We got nice, looks good. I think it looks great. Very cool.
Nice, guys. I'm glad you're digging it.
Looks like the bottom cleaned up. Nice, looks good. Cuban says you should try a golf one next.
You mind putting me back on front view here so I can say goodnight?
Yep, let me swap. Your brother says it's beautiful.
Nice. We are just the text is just a little difficult to read. The top and bottom text, I'd like to clean that up just a little bit, which I think we could do with just I think just spacing the letters out just a little bit more in our digital file would really help resolve that. But I'll throw it in the Tumblr. I'll throw it in the Tumblr overnight, and
we got you on front view.
Check out what it looks like in the morning. Yeah, I know. I just can't stop looking at it, man. It's super cool.
It does look good.
We just have a couple bugs to work out with the text, but I mean, I can read it, and that's a huge start. I'd love to see this under the microscope too. Maybe I'll take some microscope images of it tomorrow, just to really see what's going on with the text there. I can tell like the text mountains, the peaks on the text have definitely had their integrity effed with a bit. But it's hard to tell exactly how without some magnification. So I'll take a closer look at that tomorrow, and we'll see if we can clean that up before we do that backside, because that backside's got a ton of detail in it too. But yeah, dude, I hope you guys had fun tonight. There sure were a hell of a lot of you. I don't remember the last time we've had a stream this successful, so I'm assuming you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to smash the like button. Let everybody else know the content is good, as always. And don't forget to share this one if you thought it was particularly cool. Sharing videos really helps the channel out. And leave a comment after it's over. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. And you guys have been so great about chat. Chat's been buzzing all night, and I've missed like half of it. So if you have like a standout comment or a suggestion that you made tonight, and you really want to make sure that I get the chance to read it, please leave it as a comment after the stream is over, because that's going to be the absolute best way for me to be able to find that, specifically if it's even related to something that's going on in the stream tonight. Do you have any closing thoughts, Kyle?
No, dude. I thought it was a great stream, good learning experience, and also just getting that digital design into tangibleness. was a really good way to kind of take everything to the next step. Sometimes you can't move forward with something until you've tried it a couple of times, So
yep. And we'll have more details coming out about these, as we think, bits and pieces and chunks of it are ready to share. But I think this was a fun way to announce it as an idea, and we're definitely going to keep working on it. So one more time, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. I'm glad that you thought that it was worth it spending your evening with us tonight. It really does mean a lot to me. Hope you're enjoying the new studio as well. This was all very difficult to put together. So, but I definitely think that it paid off. We wouldn't have been able to share this experience any other way at this quality. So I'm really happy with that too. I just thought I'd mention that also. I'm rambling. That's all I've got, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Night, everybody.
Good night.